Hello everyone, my name is Dmitry Novikov. I'm a student of Arizona State University. Today, I'll give a presentation for my economy class. The topic is what would happen if I was an economy advisor for the President of the United States of America. First of all, let's see who it is and what function it performs. It is necessary to understand that one person has not enough time and power to help the United States presidents with economic issues. So this function is done by the Council of the Economic Advisors. It is an agency within the executive office of the president. Its primary function is to provide objective economic advice to the president about domestic or international economic policy. For example, some suggestions about improvement concerning the healthcare policy or how to reduce the unemployment rate, for example. I want to begin with international policy. As we know, today's situation is very unstable. I mean, the war in Ukraine started with Russian aggression. This event leads to an economic problems for the whole world. For example, the higher prices of gasoline in the United States. As we know, these prices are based on crude oil, and they were raised due to Western sanction in response to Russian aggression and the invasion of Ukraine. In addition, the president of Russia is blackmailed the European Union by cutting off gas supplies if European countries refuse to pay for it in rubles. The same is happening with Russian oil. In this regard, I want to quote the Benjamin Franklin's words. If you choose between the security and freedom and choose security, you will lose eventually everything. This means that the United States must get rid of any dependence on Russia, despite its provocation and time needed for it. European Union is an economic partner for the United States. Therefore, it's very important to maintain friendly relations with it and provide support. We know that the United States produces exports a huge amount of resources. For example, it exports about 8.63 million barrels of crude oil daily to other countries, which is 3.5 million more than Russia. With the export of natural gas, things are more complicated, since this transportation is very expensive, because first it must be cooled and poured into special tankers. Only after that it can be exported by ships. In any case, the presidential administration understands and has already increased gas and oil production to combat higher fuel prices and increase gas export to Europe by 15%. If I were one of the president's economic advisors, I would also advise maintaining the increase of oil and gas export to Europe to combat dependence on Russia. This is a difficult process that can last for several years, bring a lot of losses at first, but in the long-term perspective, it will bring profit, as an economic independence will be achieved. And this is the most important factor. I would definitely recommend increasing the production rate of crude oil and natural gas, as well as their export. The second is domestic policy. The current unemployment rate in the United States is 3.6%, means that 6 million people are unemployed. As we know from the macroeconomic principles, it is impossible to achieve full employment. For example, if person is looking for a job for more than 4 weeks, he's considered unemployed. A normal unemployment rate is about 4 to 5%. So it means that the United States unemployment rate is not bad at all. However, as we know from the situation with coronavirus, which affected the whole world, employment rate in near future, it can be anything. So it's necessary to be prepared. If I were an economic advisor for president, I would suggest the following tips on how to avoid a higher unemployment rate. First, provide an expansion in monetary policy. It will help to increase the aggregate demand and economic growth by cutting the interest rate. A lower interest rate will help to borrow money easier And if people borrow money easier, that means that people spend more as well as invest more too. Also, providing better education will help people to find a job easier. This leads to another problem in the United States, education. Actually, the United States education is considered one of the best systems in the world, as universities have really high position in different rank systems, but the tuition cost is very expensive. If I were an economic advisor of the president of the United States, I would implement some changes. For instance, make some government colleges free or significantly reduce the tuition cost to make an education affordable for many people. If students graduate without debt, it will give them an opportunity to earn, save, and spend more money immediately. The third point is government programs. For example, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. It helps to provide low or no income people with purchasing of food. Government programs are important because they stimulate economics. I think that government should not save on programs that relate to health or education. The government programs are the foundation of future of the nation because it can support education or medicine. And how a nation will be well educated and treated depends on the states of the economy. If we look at the level of happiness by country, we will notice that the happiest people live in those places with the highest social benefits, such as Switzerland, Denmark, or Finland. This proves my point that social benefits need to be increased in order to ensure a high level of happiness for its citizens. Therefore, if I were an advisor, I would advise carrying out several reforms. For example, reduce the age of people in Medicaid to 60 years instead of 65. Increase the annual budget of temporary assistance for needy families from $17.35 billion to $20 billion. Implement a maximum tuition cost for the universities for the whole country of, for example, $20,000. Because as I said before, if more people afford the higher education, it would only benefit the economy. Also make the process easier for international students to get a student loan, to obtain money for their tuition. As most international students, after getting a higher education, stay in the United States and work there, it will benefit the economy as they pay taxes to the budget. Instead of some citizens who live only on social benefits from the federal budget, international students have no such opportunity. Because of that, they will definitely go to work and have a positive impact on the United States economy. Thus, the United States economy is one of the best in the world, but it can be even better after providing some reforms in education, medicine, and international economic policy. I believe that it will happen in the nearest future. I learned a lot from this presentation. I knew more about different types of government programs, the way of how to defeat unemployment rates, and how much oil and natural gas are produced by the United States daily. I would definitely include in daily life reduction of the tuition cost of higher education in the United States, as it concerns me and related to me also, and reduce the age from 65 to 60 years old of citizens of the United States in Medicaid program. And I would explore more deeply in government programs in order to find additional ways of how to improve them. Thank you for the attention.